I've been a long-haul trucker for 15 years. I've seen just about everything out there. Road rage, strange weather, accidents. But nothing prepared me for what I encountered on Highway 77 one winter night. I was hauling a load of steel beams to Montana, driving a desolate stretch of road. The snow had started falling heavily, turning the highway into a slick, white expanse. My CB radio crackled occasionally, but most of the other truckers were quiet. It was the kind of night where you felt utterly alone, even if there were people around. Around 11 p.m., the storm picked up, and visibility dropped to near zero. I decided to pull off at the next rest area and wait it out. A sign appeared through the snow, weathered and barely legible. Grady's Stop, 2 miles. I'd never heard of Grady's Stop before, and it wasn't marked on my GPS, but I didn't care. I needed to get off the road. When I pulled into the lot, I immediately felt uneasy. The place looked abandoned. The parking lot was cracked and overgrown with weeds poking through the snow. A single dim light flickered above the main building, a squat, decaying structure with a sign that barely hung on. It read, Grady's Diner. There were a few old vehicles in the lot, rusted and frozen in place. No other trucks, no people, just silence. I parked my rig, killed the engine, and stepped out into the biting cold. As I made my way toward the diner, I noticed something strange. There were no fresh footprints in the snow, not a single one. It was as if no one had been there for years. The diner door creaked loudly as I pushed it open. The inside was dimly lit by buzzing fluorescent lights. A counter stretched along one side, with faded vinyl stools and a row of empty booths. It reeked of mildew and something metallic, like old blood. "Hello?" I called out, my voice echoing strangely. No answer. I should have left right then, but the storm outside was relentless, and I convinced myself that someone had to be around. Maybe in the back. I took a seat at the counter, and that's when I noticed the menu. It looked ancient, with faded lettering and prices that hadn't been updated in decades. The most unsettling thing was the slogan printed at the top. Stay forever. Eat for free. The air grew colder, and I could swear I heard faint whispers. They weren't coming from the kitchen or the back, but seemed to echo from the walls themselves. Then the lights flickered, and a figure emerged from the kitchen. At first I thought it was a man, but as it stepped closer, I realized something was wrong. Its movements were jerky, unnatural, like it wasn't used to walking. It wore a filthy apron, and its face wasn't right. The skin was stretched too tight, the eyes were too large, and its mouth hung open, revealing blackened teeth. "Hungry?" it croaked, its voice a guttural rasp. "No, I'm just waiting for the storm to pass," I stammered, standing up slowly. Its head tilted to the side, unnervingly far, like it was studying me. Then it grinned. "You don't leave," it said. "Not after coming here." I bolted for the door, but it slammed shut on its own, the sound reverberating like a gunshot. The whispers grew louder, filling the air with unintelligible voices. I spun around, only to see the thing climbing onto the counter, its limbs bending at unnatural angles. More figures began emerging from the shadows, pale, emaciated, and wrong. They crawled out from under booths, slid out of the walls, and dropped from the ceiling. I didn't think. I ran. I kicked open the door and sprinted through the snow toward my truck. The figures didn't chase me. They just stood at the diner's entrance, their hollow eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. When I climbed into my cab, the engine wouldn't start. The storm had swallowed the world around me, and I felt like I was sinking into a nightmare. That's when I saw the reflection in my side mirror. One of them was sitting in the passenger seat, its head tilted toward me. Its voice was a whisper, soft and cold. "Stay forever. Eat for free." I don't remember how I got out of there. The next thing I knew, I was on the highway, miles away, with no memory of starting the truck. My CB radio crackled to life, and a voice came through. "Breaker 19, anyone else see that place tonight?" I grabbed the mic with shaking hands. "You mean Grady's Stop?" The line went silent for a moment. Then the reply came. Grady's burned down 40 years ago. No one's been there since. I never drove that route again, and I never will. But sometimes late at night, I hear faint whispers over the CB radio. And when I check my mirrors, I swear I see glowing eyes watching me from the dark.